dirt is. And just fill your 6-packs in. Hey guys, it's me, it's Kristen from the Blue Lady. Thought I'd show you guys a little bit of how I do my lavender cuttings to make more plants. I've got a big, I think this is Munstead lavender that I've had about 4 years. So this whole mass is one plant. And if you've grown lavender before, you see like it gets a little woody after it gets older, and you know, the plants just aren't looking as great as they were, and it's kind of missing. It's got bald spots, and so I'm going to do some new plants. And this one is a good plant to have because it's the really dark blue or dark purple. So I'll show you what I do to get these little guys. I recycle my old 6-packs from my flowers. I reuse everything here. Nothing gets wasted. So I've got these filled with soilless mix. I think this is, I buy it, it's called Grow Mix, or there's another name for it, but this is basically perlite, peat moss, no dirt in it really at all. So you want to fill your 6-packs first, and then I water them. Watering them will condense all of the soil, so so it doesn't blow away, and when you put the cuttings in there, they'll stand up. So you want to make sure that's really moist first, because you're going to water it again after you put the cuttings in. So basically, you can use any of the new growth. I always use the new growth. You do a little bit of snip. Make sure you got really good scissors. Keep them clean. You know, you don't want to be cutting, infected plants and then cut your new stuff, because it'll just disease everything else. I take the bottom leaves off, and be careful because sometimes they're a little bit fragile. This one seems to be pretty good. And then it's got the flower top on it. I'm going to snip that off, because you don't want the plant to put its energy into flowering, you want it to put its energy into making roots. So there is where the roots will come out from. And then you take your 6-pack, or you can use any pot. Anything that you have laying around, just use it as a vessel for your cuttings. And put it down in. You can cut more of the top off, it doesn't matter, as long as there's a little bit of green leaf, because you want to be able to monitor that green so that you can tell if it's working. Some of these little spindly ones I'm going to avoid. Either that or I'll just cut them down. And then you take the bottom leaves off. Take them in. This one I did about a week ago, and it's, they shouldn't be, keep them moist all the time. They shouldn't ever be droopy. If they're droopy or turning brown, that means they've gone bad. Just take them right out and discard them and start over again. But I'll keep these for about 2 months in the shade. It's it's the end of May now, May 30th. So I will keep this for 2 months at least, for them to start rooting. And you water them in, make sure they're always moist. You don't have to water them every day. I kind of just I forget about them, but I don't forget about them, if that makes any sense. I just keep them in the shade, make sure they're not in bright sunlight, because that'll kill them, that'll turn them brown, and you don't want that, because then it starts disease. And then you'll kind of be able to tell. You can either look underneath and see little white roots coming out, or you can pull on them if you want to. Hi, Charlotte. But I just prefer to just leave them as long as I can. July they'll be ready to plant again, and that's when all the other ones will start to flower too. So you'll see, that's when you want all your flowers to come out. So these probably won't flower this year. They may. It depends on the variety. they may flower later in the year, but generally when you do the cuttings, you're cutting the flowers off, so you won't see flowers this year. So I'm just going to fill up the rest of this tray, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. One thing I forgot to mention is rooting hormone. I've done this a lot of times without rooting hormone at all. I don't even buy it. I think it's a chemical, so I don't even really know what's in it, but I don't use it. If you're looking for a rooting hormone that you want to use that's natural, you can use you can just chop up some willow sticks. Any kind of willow will work. Willow has a natural rooting hormone in it, and that's why willow will root pretty much anywhere. If you stick a piece of willow in the ground, it'll just root. You can use that as to soak your stems in for a few minutes if you want to. I don't seem to use anything, and I have really good luck with it, so if it's not broken, why fix it? And the other thing I wanted to mention was growing lavender from seed. The reason I don't grow lavender from seed is, for one, that a lot of times you can only find the lady lavender or the smaller varieties of lavender from seed, and I don't think it comes out as robust as my cuttings do. Plus, when I have a plant that I really love, like this one, I want it to be the exact same plant, and I want the color of the flowers to be the same, and I want the healthiness of this plant. So this will be an exact clone. These will be an exact clone of this plant. So that's why you take cuttings instead of growing from seed. I love growing from seed on other things, but a lot of times it won't. It'll revert back to its wild form, which sometimes they're not as brightly colored, or the smell isn't as good. So that's why I do cuttings, and look how many plants I get from this. So thank you. Okay guys, one more thing I wanted to say. Watering in. The reason that you water in, even though this soil is super wet and moist, you want to water it in because gravity is going to pull all that soil in, and you want the soil and the moisture to tuck around and get right up close to those stems, because if there's air pockets in there, they'll just dry out. And you never want them to dry out. You just want to keep them evenly moist and make sure you water it enough so that you see the soil move, and that way you'll know that gravity has pulled that down and around those stems so that they stay evenly moist all the time and connected to that soil. So, alright, I think that was all. See you guys next time. Thank you.